Alright guys, Paul here gave me a video this week unexpected. So obviously last week you seen I've got the Mad Van, which I thought was probably the craziest RC car I'd ever get. Pretty funky, unique looking and just a bit retro. But today I just got home and the missus got me a wee surprise gift. Check this out, I don't know if anybody's seen these before. The Tamiya Lunchbox Mini. So this is literally... that is literally the size of the car on there. It's going to be absolutely tiny. So it's a little build kit. You need your own controller, ESC and servo. Everything else is in the box. And then there's aftermarket hop up to get 4-wheel steering, which I just checked online. I think it's only about £10, so I might order that too. But yeah, I'm just going to build this thing up, see what it's like. Really odd little car. Pretty cool because obviously everybody knows the Lunchbox, but just having one this small is just completely different. This is the box opened up, so there's your body shell you've got to cut out and stuff. So I mean, that is literally the size of the car, tiny. You've got your tyres here, little wheels, and basically the usual, all the bags, the screws, etc. Put it right around. You get the motor, which is tiny little, I think, is it a 370 motor or something? I'm not sure the exact size, smaller than I've ever had. Here's the chassis kit. Looks like bumpers and arms, etc. And if it looks to me like I can make a wee fold up ramp here if you want to. Yeah, I don't know if we'll do that, but you can do that as well. And yeah, it's more and more parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a wee video of just putting this all together, and we'll see what it's like at the end. I think it should be pretty interesting. What's this as well? There's a sticker pack for it too. And the manual, which I'm going to need. So yeah, this is going to be by far the oddest RC car I've ever had. Probably a lot of fun, but yeah, it's completely different for me, so let's get on with this. Right, looking at it for yourselves, this might look a little bit of a mess, but it's some kind of organisation. This is what I like to do first when I do a build. So I've got my parts A, B, C, I think these are G, and these are P, which obviously that's what I've got. So that's the closest order I can get, and I've got my little bags of screws, A, B, C, the motor and little magnets and things at the back. So just try and get everything laid out as best I can. And what else is actually quite handy, what I've got, which if you're doing builds are always really good to have, is these little magnetic bowls. So you can kind of put bits and bobs in when you're using them, and that way you don't lose anything or drop it off the shelf. Really recommend getting them, guys. Right, the first part is just to put the middle of the chassis together with a couple of gears. So we've got the parts here, so we've got A8, which is one side, A9's which is the other. And you can see on this one, it's got a flatter plate, so the motor butts against there. And this one's open for where you put the motor in. So a couple of pins to put in, little plastic bushes instead of bearings. I think you can get a separate bearing kit, but I mean for the size of this and how much it's going to drive about, I'm just not really worried about getting ball bearings in it. I'm just going to keep it just completely how it is out the box. And there's a couple of gears to fit, so we'll get them in just now. That should hopefully be fairly straightforward. Right, just as you've seen there, just always cross thread when you're putting your screws in, just when you're tightening them. Cross threading's the best way, saves anything going offline or stripping things. Just take your time, obviously being plastic, but yeah, that's just something I mentioned, quite just cross threading's a big important thing. Next, obviously part two, we've got to put these two gears in here and put the case cover on. So obviously in this, I take it when it's done in the centre here, this is where the motor drive pinion will probably go through, and that way it will turn the gears and get the car moving. So we'll get these bits fitted now. Right, next part is putting the motor in the sort of case and putting it into the sort of transfer box kind of part. But I've been looking for the pinion for ages there. I had everything organised, looking for a little metal pinion. Couldn't find one, so I've raked through everything here. And all I can see, it's got 16 tooth, is this. You can see it. It's sort of little plastic gear here. So there's two of them in the little G box, and so I think this must be it. But if we have to change that down the line, we will. But just now I'll be using this as a pinion. I think it is right, but yeah, here we go. And so that's how small the motor is. Absolutely tiny. Yeah, that's the motor all in. Everything seems to be turning fine when I turn the gears, so that little thing I thought the pinion was the pinion, must be the pinion, so that's this part done. So now we're on to put these little dog bones into these. I've got everything laid out, so I'll get these all together. Looks fairly straightforward. Get this, the 4 of these done, then we'll move on to the next stage. Right, I'm not going to lie, they were a little bit fiddly to put together, especially the little grub screws being so small. It's a bit fiddly, nothing too hard, but yeah, it's a bit sore on the fingers, that part. Alright, now that's all done, we should have enough to put all the hubs together, so I'll get all the parts fitted in. We'll just do that quickly and I'll fast forward again through this, but this should be fairly simple. Right, now mounting the upper arm together. Just literally a couple of plastic balls here and a little part, sort of top tower. This should be fairly easy too. Right, now we look at the upper arms built, the sort of shafts are on, and they've got to put this little, I don't still trying to line my finger up to look at the camera. I've got this little centre diff here, well sorry, rear diff or front, whatever side we're at, I'm not sure. Got to put a little diff in the side here, then it all kind of couples together, and that should be that front kind of almost done. Alright, that's the front end done now. You can see I had to take that apart again because I was too busy looking at the camera and the little dog bone had popped out, but yeah, everything's all in together now, so still fairly straightforward everything so far. A little bit fiddly with the size, but yeah, nothing, don't think Eddie couldn't manage. Now on to making the wheelie bar, so there's 3 parts to get for that. I'll get them just now and I'll bring it back onto the camera. Alright guys, I've just been doing this a wee bit sort of here and there over last night and this morning, so in total I'm probably up to about maybe about an hour or something so far, just in filming time. So it's raining this morning, but we'll continue with this. So obviously you've seen how far we've got so far. Now I've just got to make the steering linkage for the top, which I'll show you is part 18 here. So I've got to put this all together, then that goes on to, it gets mounted onto the chassis. So because of the rain and stuff, I'll just do it on film, and we'll sort of speed it up a bit, and we'll move on to the next stage. Hopefully this rain will have stopped by then. Right, I've got a couple of servos lying. This is out an Arma Typhon I've got lying about, so I don't know if that's about 15 kilogram or something like that, but hopefully it'll work. I can't remember it not working, and obviously there'll not be a lot of pressure on it with this little Lunchbox Mini, so this should do the job. Right, next the rest of the instructions say to stick your ESC and receiver on here first, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it reverse. I'm going to stick this on first, and we'll do my electronics at the end. So basically there's a little latch at the back here, if you can see it just here, and there's a hole in here, so this basically just latches in, push it down, and all the holes should line up, and just put the screws in. Right, just a quick note while I was fitting the steering linkage here. Bit a bad one by me, but what I've done is I've put this little arm here facing opposite, so this arm here facing opposite direction, but it's supposed to go more forward facing to hold the steering inside it, but it's only 2 screws to change over, so it's literally a 2-second switch. Alright guys, I've done my electrics there off camera, because everybody's will be different obviously, just wire up who you want. I've just got mine in roughly just now, fairly neat, but a couple more bits I'll do at the end just to tidy up. But you can see steering's working, throttle's going, using the tactic controller and an old tactic receiver I've got. I was showing you that battery earlier, it was out my, I think it was out my WL Toys 41101, but also these fit perfect, these Florian 2S 1500 milliamp 35C discharge batteries. These go absolutely perfect inside the tray in the back, so you could use them as well, or probably other brands too, but they definitely fit. So what we'll do now is we'll get the battery tray bit on the back, put the wheels on and stuff, then I don't think there's too much more to do before we do the body. There we have it, everything on. The little rod ends here on the steering, although it said 1mm on each one, I had to do a little bit of tuning on them just to get the wheels straight, but you can see it's all going now. Car's ready to go, so all I need to do now is do the body, then it'll be ready to have a wee blast. Right, well, there we have it now, the Lunchbox Mini completely built. In total we filming and building it, probably it took about 3.5–4 hours in total to get that done. But yeah, it's fairly straightforward build. The stickers are a bit of a pain, but I'm not a big fan of doing stickers personally, but you can see there it tilts when it steers and stuff. You can also get the little rail add-ons at the end to get 4-wheel steering. But for just now, yeah, pretty happy with that. We'll get a wee video out soon, see what it's like. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of fun anyway. See you next time. Bye.